FaZe is doing it. They're taking G2 down right now. G2, they have some life left, but what do you do against a FaZe team that is playing this well? I think one thing you can do is certainly clean up those slight mistakes. We saw JKnaps with the own goal. That really did seem like the turning point for G2, who had bounced back early on, but after that own goal, things continued to fall apart.
Maybe if they start connecting on some of their demos more often, that's something that FaZe have done really well, and something you pointed out earlier too, James, was G2, they're not going away from the physical game, but FaZe are just avoiding everything. And to be able to consistently avoid those demos, I mean, that's so hard.
Jordan, game one, they weren't avoiding the demos.
Oh, you're right, they weren't. And they still won.
It doesn't even matter if you connect or not. Exactly.
You're right, I'm sorry.
It's tough. It's a tough day at the office for G2.
Not something I thought I'd be saying today. With FaZe, they've set themselves up real nicely with about the most cushion you can possibly hope for. And with all the confidence to boot, Chicago just gonna launch that ball downfield. There's no one available to follow that up. Now JKnaps left alone. Got a decent touch. FaZe might have got caught out here. G2, Chicago pick up the first goal.
And this is something that G2 does better than any other team in North America, is those quick turnaround counterattack goals, whether it's Atomic or Chicago hanging out at the midfield, hitting that pass up and pulling the trigger right away before the defense can rotate back. We saw Atomic almost do it earlier in this series. This time, Chicago able to get that goal. So things starting to look up for G2, but immediately off kickoff, things getting precarious. Atomic will clear it out, but a scary moment right after the goal for G2.
He forces two in the air, James. The net was defended, and Atomic was so scared that his teammate was going to get bumped that he jumped in the way just to make sure. But he actually almost put them in a worse spot. Now just misses the ball, or he doesn't miss the ball, but he misses the net. And that was about the best look he could get in the first minute. That one taken away. It's typical. Driving the ball over for G2 now, Chicago. Trying to get in the way of missed. Atomic keeping the ball close. JKnaps is off for boost, so Atomic has to protect the ball himself. Did enough on the 50. G2, or Chicago and Atomic run into each other, and it ended up being a dead ball. JKnaps' attempted flick defended. FaZe back on offense.
And that was the right idea from JKnaps to take the time there. The flick just wasn't high enough to get over that first defender. G2 can tell they're feeling a little more comfortable, but it seems so fragile. I don't know if G2 can keep this FaZe team at bay. We'll find out.
Downfield, he's got the redirect. Oh, what a save from Mist, and the rebound denied. Oh, Mist. Wait, here's another one. JKnaps, that shot not going to be defended this time. Knapsack delivers the second.
And G2 gaining that confidence. Things starting to look up for G2. It was a nice pass from Atomic. The speed from Typical, able to get it by a FaZe defense that has seemingly been able to get their fingertips on almost every ball, but this time it goes just past, and now we see a 2-goal lead, potentially a 3. The flick will be saved, but still, lovely pressure from G2. This is the response that they needed.
Gotta stop First Killer. He's behind the ball. 2 touches, wide angle. None of FaZe were ready. Still getting set up in midfield. A two-goal lead is the most dangerous lead in Rocket League. Especially with how FaZe have been looking. I think G2 would be happy to find a third, but here's First Killer. Dropped a little too far below the ball. JKnaps might get that third down for Chicago, but he's downfield. Got the bump on Typical. Typical gets deleted, and JKnaps puts it right in FaZe.
And it looked like First Killer might have been trying to use the flip reset to go for a bump, but it didn't work out. But a bump that did work out was Chicago lead blocking, getting a bump into a demo, paving the path for JKnaps to easily stroll along it. And this is now a dominant game for G2.
And a little bit more comfortable of a lead. FaZe. A nice little catch from First Killer. Looking for Typical downfield. Pass cut off. Atomic had enough boost, but pass back to Sip. Light touch. First Killer can't get the dunk. Chicago keeps him out. Missed. Pop shot. Missed. Goal!
And it's not over yet. This was immense pressure. You saw First Killer trying to go for the dunk there. Typical bumping Atomic off the line. A scrappy goal for FaZe. They are finding any way to score, but they trail by 2. G2 has been having a heck of a response so far this game. They're going to need to close this out. A demo on Atomic. Opens up space. Good first touch from Typical. Oh, side flips off the ball. Pitch goes high. That is not what FaZe Plan was planning.
It was not the FaZe plan, for sure. Atomic pushing that one forward, and now Atomic went for typical. He makes the grab, that's missed, and as bad as it looks, as long as you get the clear, it doesn't really matter. Now, Chicago, breakaway. Goes for the bump, missed it. JKnaps rebound. Go for G2. They get the 3 goals back.
And that's a hat trick now for JKnaps. Chicago taking the space, trying to go for the fake flick. He did get stopped by Typical, but it was a good stop, actually. It set up that shot for JKnaps. And I like what we're seeing from G2. They're starting to slow the play down, recognize when FaZe does give them space, and then taking that space. We saw JKnaps doing it earlier. We saw Chicago do it right there. And that really is a testament to the mental fortitude of G2. It's very easy to start panicking and you start to play rushed Rocket League. But no, G2 happy to slow it down, and it was the right call this game.
Oh, the dunk and a beautiful touch in response. G2 doing a little better here in game number 4. Atomic pushing it across. He's going to get another goal. And FaZe now left to go back to the drawing board. Got caught out a little too much there. Typical, not the touch he wanted. Then he got deleted right after. Atomic left with an open net. And G2 now can relax.
And there's a perfect smoke bomb to prevent the defense from even seeing Atomic turn on that ball. And this is the type of game you want for G2. I think you're going for the Brazil. You keep scoring because you want to put FaZe into the dirt, but FaZe will get a late goal here. I think everybody knows that this game is pretty much over, but hey, we've seen some pretty crazy last-second goals happen.
Be careful, James. I'm just saying, you've been with me when I've called games early.
It's true.
You never know.
I mean, it is.
They have to stay. They have a chance. Well, I don't think they do, but JKnaps going to protect the ball. FaZe off the back wall, but Typical actually going to be given a whiff. No,
hold on.
He's there.
Hold on.
Okay.
All right.
I see it. I see the possibilities now. 22 seconds, 11 seconds per.
Even if they don't come back and win this game, though, this is a great ending to the game for FaZe. They're going to take this and run with it. G2 up 5-1 at one point. FaZe just going to say, I chalked it up to just a bad game. It was unlucky. And then roll on. Whereas G2, even then, they would have had a more positive win mentally.
No, sorry, James. I thought
you are on the Hopi.
It was well defended. There's not enough time left for FaZe. Attempted comeback thwarted. G2 prevent the sweep and start a journey of their own as we head to game 5.
G2, very strong game, especially from JKnaps. JKnaps, a hat trick this game. It was well fought by G2, taking the space that FaZe was giving them.